Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Hypertrophic Cardiomyopathy Association's Facebook page and this installment of Share Your Story. In a few minutes, you're going to meet an extraordinary HCM warrior. But before we begin, I just wanted to give you a couple of announcements. So for those of you who are viewing this, it is being viewed, or it's being recorded, I should say, live on June 1st, about 12:05 p.m. Eastern Time. If you ask your questions after the original airing, we will get back to them later. So you can still ask questions, but don't expect an immediate response. I want to let you all know that there is a new survey. Actually, there's two current surveys being offered by the Hypertrophic Cardiomyopathy Association. One is related to cannabis use in hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. It may sound like a strange topic for us to cover, but with cannabis laws changing around the United States, it's really important for us to understand how these chemicals and natural substances affect the HCM heart. So whether you are a current cannabis user, you've used in the past, you're not interested at all, you have no interest at all, please let us know what your thoughts are. And if you have any experience with using these products, we'd ask that you share that experience with us. The second survey is about mental health and hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. As we at the HCMA are trying to build service models that really, go after not only the cardiac needs of the patients and families, we want to treat the whole patient with HCM. So we're trying to understand better what you feel is going on in your cardiac care program in regards to mental health issues. Are they being addressed properly, or is there more that we can do? So please take a few moments. These surveys are posted here on this Facebook page, and you can share your thoughts with us. So thank you so much for considering taking part in those surveys. So today we have with us a little bit of a celebrity. Mike Fox is going to share his story with you in a second. But if you're like me and you're a Shark Tank fanatic, you may have seen him already on TV. In January of 2018, he and his partner were on Shark Tank with their product, which is the company name is Wingman Life Jacket. And we're going to get a demo in a little bit. But I think it's really interesting that Mike has not let HCM stop him from becoming an entrepreneur. So without further ado, Mike, welcome to the HCMA Facebook page. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Lisa. I'm lucky to be on and excited to share my story.
We're excited to hear it. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into your HCM.
Okay, so my name is Mike Fox, and I am 28 years old. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I love sports. I'm a big basketball fan, big Green Bay Packer fan, love the Packers. I'm also engaged to be married. I'll be getting married July 14th, so that's right around the corner here. Very exciting. I come from a big family here, family full of entrepreneurs, and so having entrepreneurs in the family kind of inspired me to become one myself. And yeah.
That's pretty cool. So what was the Shark Tank experience like?
Well, the Shark Tank experience was definitely a roller coaster of emotions, similar to HCM. It's a roller coaster of emotions, but it was great. We actually filmed it last June, so there was a long waiting period until we aired. And so once it aired, it was great for the business, but we had never seen the episode yet, so we were watching and like wondering how they would edit it and how it would all turn out. But we did not get a deal, but we got an offer, and Mr. Wonderful made us not so wonderful of an offer and wanted a little bit too much of our business. But we walked out of there. We stuck to our plan, walked out of there with our heads high, and the exposure's been great for us, and we're still moving forward. Now that it's summer season, people are out there in their life jackets, and we're building off the momentum.
We're going to talk more about your business later on in this segment, but I want to talk a little bit more about you and your experience with hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. So let's start with, when was the first time you heard the words hypertrophic cardiomyopathy?
Yeah, well, the first time I heard the words hypertrophic cardiomyopathy was sadly after my mom had passed away. She was 54 and showed no signs that, she was healthy. We didn't, you could have told me a million things that were going to happen that week, and I wouldn't have said One of them would be my mom passing away. It was very sudden and caught us all off guard. But after she passed away, that's my sister is a physician's assistant, so she was kind of leading the charge there and doing the due diligence of figuring out what was the cause, and if there's anything we can do. And so she told me that, and I remember the first time I heard it, just like one ear out the other because it's hard to say. And I didn't think it would have any impact on me at the time. I didn't know there was any genetic testing. I didn't know I had it, but then my sister was, and two, it's kind of when someone like your loved one.
Oh, we've just lost Michael. Now Michael's back. Try again, Michael.
Okay. But after someone dies that's that close to you, like a part of me didn't even want to know anything about what happened. So it was good that my sister was there and learning about this because it's just a very tough time. You don't think you can do anything after someone dies, but for me, I learned a lot. And my mother's love never stopped.
Problem with your audio. Try to come a little closer to the microphone for us. Sorry about that. We are limited by, technology here sometimes.
Okay. Is this better?
A little bit. So your mom had passed and you're just learning about this word hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, but not necessarily thinking about yourself, just grieving the fact that your mom's just passed unexpectedly, not diagnosed. Unfortunately, we find out on autopsy, and then the family gets screamed because your sister, who's a medical professional, says we should check this out.
And then they did the genetic test, and we found out that there was a specific gene that we would all get tested for. So I'm in the middle of 5 kids, so an older brother, sister, and then 2 younger brothers, and we all got tested. And then around April of 2017, I found out I had the gene, but my echo was okay, so they didn't think there wasn't anything they were going to do. It was kind of just continued checkups for me. And then I had a couple episodes of fainting, which they decided to have an MRI done of my heart, and I did the Holter monitor, stress test. I did a lot of other testing, but after the MRI is when they really decided that I needed a defibrillator because I had a high scar burden. And that MRI was a week after Shark Tank. So I was like just on a high and then back down. And then, but then we figured it out, and I ended up getting the ICD implanted at Mayo Clinic, February 23rd of this year.
So you said a couple of very interesting things to our community there, and I'm going to go back and unpack some of it. So your genetic test for a myelin light chain mutation was positive.
Yeah.
Your echo looked pretty normal. There is a connection between certain genetic mutations and the fact that there's not a great deal of hypertrophy. So you don't tend to have these really thick wall measurements. They're just subtly thick. And sometimes in our world, people think I have a little HCM because there's not a lot of hypertrophy. But that can be a misnomer. We can be thrown off by the fact that the images don't look terrible. So how bad can the disease actually be? But in your case, when we took the next step to that MRI and we see, yes, it's a little thick, but it's a lot scarred at 28, that's when we have to take action. That had to be a little confusing for you, didn't it?
Yeah, it was very, very confusing for me. I didn't understand in the whole period between April to like the next January where I was okay, but I was kind of it's just a weird time for me where I was confused. It's like this is gonna happen to you, but you don't know when. And then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, this is bad. So for me, I was kind of like, why didn't we do the test right away, the MRI right away? But I mean, you learn more, and hindsight's always 20/20. But yeah, I would say that they got a much clearer picture of everything with the MRI, and that was a big test for me. So,
and based on the results, you were determined to be at a higher risk of cardiac arrest because of your family history and the scar burden. So it was determined to put in a device, and you opted for the SICD, which has been in for 3 months now. So we are having some laggy issues with Mike's video. Hoping he comes back on here in a second. Mike. So while I try to get Mike back in fighting mode here, I'm going to pause for a second. And it's just me. So hopefully he'll click on the link and he'll come back in a second. And
oh, I'm back. Oh, sorry. I don't know what happened.
It's a wonderful thing. Okay. So I was just going over the fact that you got the SICD put in, and that SICD has been there for 3 months now. And how is it feeling?
It feels good now. At first, it was I changed kind of the way I sleep and some other things. And at first, it was a while to heal, just get back to recovering. But now I'm active. I was golfing yesterday. I've been running more, and I've been just kind of not thinking about it so much. The first 2 months, I was like always worried about getting a shock, and that was always just in my mind. And again, with the stuff that you don't understand, the more you learn about it, every time, the more comfortable you get with it. But at first, I was just worried I was going to get shocked doing I don't know what, but it hasn't. It's been good so far. I feel more comfortable with it, and that it knows when to provide therapy.
I had a device for almost 20 years, and it never went off. I had 3 major risk factors, 2 minor risk factors, and in all of that time, it just sat there and watched. So it's there for protection. Put that in your mind that it is there for the emergency, which is a really great segue to talk a little bit about this product that you came up with. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a backstory here that you didn't even know was related to you when you created this device. So one of the ways we know there might be a family history of HCM is when we look back into the family history and look for instances of unwitnessed deaths, single vehicle, motor vehicle accidents, or drowning. And ironically, and maybe some divine intervention, if you will, led you to create a product to save people from drowning. Tell us about the product.
Yeah, so actually, the idea of the product came when my partner, he did a triathlon back in 2012. He was just coming out of college, and his first one, it was a half Ironman, and he finished the race, and at the end, sadly, learned that another participant drowned, and that just, seemed way too high of a price to pay for a fun event like that. And then you got to start thinking about it, and there's just a few volunteers in kayaks there, and there's not really a swimmer's life jacket. So we decided, we thought the best solution to a problem like that, where you're in a school of people, they're you're head to toe getting kicked, and it's an intense. Your adrenaline's very high, and so the heart rate's going, and give me cold water. And so we thought the best solution would be to empower everyone to give them a chance to rescue themselves. So we created Wingman, which is a very thin, sleek life jacket, and it's it doesn't provide any flotation until you pull the ripcord. And then once you pull the ripcord, it floats your face up from any position, and it can be used over and over again with a new CO2 cylinder.
I know it's coming, so I'm backing up. I don't know why.
Yeah, so I'll give
the 2 cartridge, and that's what gives you the flotation.
Yeah. So okay. We'll give it a little demonstration here.
Oh. There you go. And you float.
Yep. So it's great because when you don't need it, it's not so buoyant, but when you do, it is more buoyant than a traditional foam life jacket.
Really?
Head up from any position. So
there you go. That's pretty cool. So I put the link on this Share Your Story, so if people want to know how they can get this device, they can just click on the link. And I'm sure for your HCM family friends, you'll give them a good price. There you go.
set up a discount code for HCMA.
Yeah, there you go. We need a discount code. That
Yeah.
really works. So you're diagnosed, you're getting married this year, you're starting a company, you're 28 years old, and you're going to live a really long life, we hope, with hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. What do you want people to know about HCM or living with HCM? What's your message to both your HCM brethren and the rest of the world?
I guess for those living with HCM and for like someone like my personal experience, it's been I guess mentally it's been very challenging for me because it's a very confusing disease, and I guess it's hard for me to wrap my head around. I'm still trying to learn it, but it's been very helpful for me to reach out and talk to people that have had HCM, to join the HCMA, because I felt a lot of comfort when I got the book and was able to read through that whole book, because it touches on so many topics. And when I was in doctor's appointments too, it's always quick, and then I usually go there with a sister or somebody so I can help remember it, but a lot of it gets lost. So I like to have some of those resources at home that you can use to educate yourself. And also, for me personally, I wanted to share my story because it was, my mom was never diagnosed, and I think there's a lot of people out there that also aren't diagnosed, and hopefully, I learned a lot. It's a blessing, and it's like to find the mother's love that showed me I had it, and her love never stops. And so I just want to, try and help. And if there's other people out there that we could save and help, it's absolutely what I would love to do. And I think the HCM is a great resource. So we would have learned about it earlier in life, and just help some people out there that don't know they have it, and hopefully could save some lives with these devices that we have.
So, you bring up a good point there, and I want to kind of shine a light onto some of the work that we're doing here at the HCMA. And one of those, as many people who are watching this know, we believe very strongly in the concept of centers of excellence. But now that we have 33 centers of excellence and 8 in pending status, so hopefully by the end of the year we're going to hit 40 programs, we want to work on helping people get diagnosed in those catchment areas. So if you're in Milwaukee, so if we bring a program into Milwaukee, which is one of the ones that's pending review right now, we want the whole community to start talking about HCM as frequently as they talk about other diseases, and make sure that we bring up our diagnostic numbers. Right now in the United States, there's only about 150,000 people who have an active diagnosis of HCM, when there are a potential of 1 million. So by building up our centers, we hope to find these families before tragedy strikes in a sustainable model of healthcare that works really well with finding not only people who have HCM, but getting into the proper treatment pathways. So we share that mission, and we grieve with you at the loss of your mom. I'm so sorry we weren't able to get to her diagnosis in time, but as you said, a mother's love never dies, and she's taking care of you with that information so that you can take care of yourself and have a nice life.
Yeah.
I think that's really important. And knowing your family history now, for other families, when they have a family history of a sudden death, do you think they should be more proactive in finding out what that cause was?
Yeah, I think it's tough because, like myself, I didn't think there was anything I could do, and that's such a difficult time for a person going through that sometimes it's overwhelming, and you just don't want to hear what it is. But I think, yeah, it's definitely good to drill down to that family history. And my mom's mom passed away when she was 44, and so there's probably some more digging that we could have done. And I think that is. And I showed symptoms too, kind of my whole life, of fainting and episodes of losing consciousness. And so I think, once you look back on it, it's pretty it's tough to diagnose, but you can learn a lot from your family history, and there's a lot of steps that can help you moving forward.
So your mom's mom passed at 44. Mom died at 54.
Yeah.
And mom never was able to get to a cardiologist for diagnosis.
Well, yeah, she had an echo like 8 years before she passed, and again, kind of like my echo didn't really show anything. I don't know if I mean it's the same gene, so could have been that. But she had to get her thyroid removed, and so she saw a cardiologist, did some tests, and it didn't really.
But not the right test, not the MRI. Which is what
Yeah, and yeah, because it's a rare gene. That so.
Yeah. So you're an MYL2, which is a myelin light chain, as opposed to most of us are in the myosin complete or myosin heavy. So it's not the most common mutation, and it does have less hypertrophy associated with it. So I'm so sorry about your mom, but I'm so happy that you were able to get the proper treatment. You're in the care of the Mayo Clinic's HCM program. You've got your ICD, and you have a whole life ahead of you now that starts with a new marriage in a couple of weeks.
Yes. No, I'm very excited, and I feel a lot more comfortable with this in me, because otherwise that fear of just something sudden happen is that can become overwhelming and kind of all you can think about. So the peace of mind is a beautiful thing.
That it is. So we're going to see if anybody has any questions or comments they'd like to ask. I know we've had a couple of little audio glitches here today, so I'm sorry about that. But let's see what the audience is saying, and we've got a bunch of hellos and highs and all that kind of fun stuff here. Give them some airtime. Oh, let's pull that one down. There we go. So somebody give us a thumbs up. Me, I guess, is the name. And Michael. Oh, hi, Michael. And Esther, how's that new heart of yours doing, sweetie? And Cheryl, hello. And John Ross says they've been following us for about 18 years or so. Hello to all our HCM stalkers who used to be on the message board community. Now we've gone video so you can see us on a regular basis. Hello, Sir John and Connie and Akan. And Connie says, thanks for sharing your story. And Amy is here. Amy and I spent yesterday together. Does anybody have any questions for Michael, either about his diagnosis, his SICD, his experience with genetic testing, or his time on the Shark Tank? We can go back to the Shark Tank if you want. We'll give you all a couple minutes to ask some questions. And I'll just put a little note up here that we're taking Q&A. Boom. So I'm going to dig into the Shark Tank a little bit because it's fun, and we don't get to talk about that with most people. So how were they in person, and who were your sharks?
Oh, so our sharks, we had, it was Mark Cuban, we had guest shark, Sarah Blakely, Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, then we had Lori and Damon.
Wow, big crowd.
Yeah, so we had 5 sharks, and I guess in person, they don't know anything about you until you walk into that room. And so, yeah, you kind of walk in, and you do your pitch, and then after that, it's it's kind of like the wild west. You don't know what they're going to ask, but you got to be prepared for it. And so, yeah, we were in there for probably about 45 minutes, and it gets cut down to about 6 minutes on TV.
A lot of editing went on there, I bet.
Yeah. And I did not have my ICD at the time, but so my heart rate was probably very, very high.
I'm really glad that nothing bad happened at that extreme stress level. That in and of itself was a stress test of a different kind.
No, it was like 2 months after I found out I had the gene for it, but I did not have that MRI yet. So I was.
So it was better not to know. Maybe at that moment in time helped you get through it without more stress on your side. That makes sense. Well, Mr. Wonderful made you an offer that wasn't so wonderful.
Yeah, he wanted 50% of our business.
You gotta give the boy credit for moxie, because that's
yeah. So we countered, and then we did not come to a deal. So,
but you're getting the PR from it, and hopefully.
Yeah, and it was a good experience, and it was good for us to kind of just reevaluate our business at the time, and plan going forward and prepare. It's a great thing for anyone who's in the business realm, I think.
Yeah, that moment of clarity is a good thing, and hearing somebody else's perspective is always great.
Yeah.
I appreciate that one. Well, it doesn't look like we have any questions from the audience today at this point, but they'll probably pop in when this goes viral later on today and people start sharing it around. So if they have any questions, both Michael and I'll check later on to see what you're asking. Michael, any final thoughts before we quit today?
I just want to say thank you for allowing me this opportunity, and thank you for all of the great work you've done, because it's very overwhelming when you kind of get entered into this community, but it's great to know that there's wonderful, caring people out there that are working for solutions and kind of moving everything forward in this realm. And I think we've come a long way. I think we'll be, who knows, in a couple of years where we'll be, but the community is always important when you're facing anything. So I'm just very grateful to be a part of the HCM, and grateful for everything you guys do.
Well, we're very happy to be able to be here to provide that service for you. And like you did when you were on Shark Tank, that moment of reevaluation, when the CEO gets a new heart and a little bit more energy, it's time to reevaluate things too. And I think people are going to like where we're going and the services that we're hoping to be able to provide to people. So stay tuned and give us that discount code so we can put that in the HCMA newsletter.
Yeah, it'll be HCMA. I'll set that up.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for joining us today, and hopefully we'll see you in a future Share Your Story with some other wonderful, inspiring story from the HCM world. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.